Hi everybody, welcome to tonight's live class. I am just trying to join you in the comments, so if you can just let me know if you can hear me in the meantime. As soon as I have joined you, I will be able to see if you can hear me. I'm joining a live class. Welcome. Very exciting. I hope that you will learn a lot this evening. So if you don't know, we are busy doing 12 days of festive craft along. So every second day we have a live class, and then every alternating day we have a beautiful project that's been made by one of our ambassadors, and there will be step-by-step instructions on how to make that project. So it's a very fun learning experience, and it is definitely bringing in the Christmas spirit. I have absolutely loved seeing everybody's projects, and it gives me a sense of pride to see how all of our members are stepping outside of their comfort zones and trying something new. So tonight we will be making a snow globe inspired ornament. So as creatives do, I have misplaced my ornament. I'm sure I will find it. So for now you get to see it in the picture, and then once we're done you'll be able to see it. So for this you're going to need one sheet of basswood, an acrylic blank, some ribbon, some twine, some transfer tape, and some smart vinyl. Sorry, I forgot the foil as well. How gorgeous is the foil vinyl? So I got this at one of the special Cricut events. So if you ever have the chance to go to a Cricut event, you should definitely do that. So while we're on the topic of special events and such, if you have not visited Secret Sale website, you definitely have to. So I got myself some basswood, and I absolutely love it, and I love the price even more. So you can spin the wheel every day and you will get a lovely discount. And if you have an ambassador code, you will be able to put that on top of your wheel discount. So you can only use one ambassador code, and you can only use it once in the entire time that you shop, but you can use an ambassador code and a wheel code at the same time. So I still unfortunately cannot get into the comments, but I will get there. If you can just give me a second just so that I can see if anybody has any questions, please do leave them in the comments. If I don't get to them, then one of the lovely admins definitely will. There it is. Hello everybody, I can see you. So another thing before we get started is if you have any ideas for classes, for events, anything you'd love to see, pop them in the comments now so that we can take notes of them. We love hearing the ideas that members have, and if there's anything specific that you're struggling with, I'm sure somebody would love to incorporate that into their class. So before we get started, as always, this class was proudly sponsored by Logitech and Cricut. Let's jump into it. So we're going to go over to Design Space, and we're going to say New Project, Blank Canvas. So you can see I had it open. Okay, so we are going to start with our acrylic blank, and our acrylic blank is 5 centimeters. So this is a lovely way to use all of those blank keyrings that you might have lying around. So I know there was a big acrylic keyring craze at one stage, and then it kind of died out a little bit. So I'm always looking for fun ways that I can use the blanks that I might still have lying around. So this is going to be my template, so I'm actually going to duplicate this, and I'm going to put that to the side, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So this is going to be for me to get the sizing that I want. So I'm going to go to images. Now I have bookmarked this. You're going to search for snow globe. So let's have a look. Okay, so you can see I've bookmarked them. I've used this one and I've used this one. So you're going to see why I've got two in a minute. So with this one that has all of the details, obviously we can't use this. When you are working with basswood, you want to not have too much detail. So something like this with the Christmas tree, it might come out very very tattered, if that's the word to use. So I want one piece from this. I just want this piece over here. So I'm going to duplicate that. Oopsie, I didn't want to put it there. I wanted to go there. Okay, now we can get rid of the rest of the snow globe. Let's ungroup that, move that, and delete that. Okay, so this is the part that I'm going to use across the bottom, and this is just to give it a little bit of character, if you will. So I'm quite happy with that. And as you can see, it is very large, so I'm just going to make that a bit smaller. Another thing you want to look out for when you're working with basswood is you don't want the things to be too thin. So I will show you when we are busy cutting it or after we've cut it. It is wood, but it is not a very strong wood. So you have to be quite gentle with it, and you have to be cautious of what you're trying to cut with it. So I'm actually going to duplicate this once again because I'm just going to use this. I'm going to make it more or less the same size, and then I'm going to add an offset to it. So the offset that I'm going to be doing is a negative offset. So let's say -2. Let's see what it gives us. That's far too thick. Let's go 1.5. So if you have ever been or you've joined one of the classes, my classes specifically, you will notice that I wing it a lot. I always go by I kind of feel what looks good, and then if it doesn't work, I adjust. So if you are that type of person, welcome, you have found your people. Okay, so I'm just slightly adjusting it to get it more or less where I want it to be. So let's go 1.1, and I think that's good. Now I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to say slice. So what I've done is I've created a ring to thicken up my outside. We can get rid of those. We can move this to the side. Let's change this to white so that we can see. Looks good. We're going to select both of those, and we're going to say combine and weld. So the reason I'm welding it is because I'm not going to be taking it apart afterwards. I want it to stay as one. So that's why I welded it. If you want to be able to change it later on, then you can not weld it. You can, what is it, combine, what is it, unite. So unite is like when you're not sure about it and you maybe want to go back and change it later, and weld is forever. It's marriage. There is no turning back. Okay, so we have our base here, and it looks quite good. Now what I want to do is I want to create a little hole. So this took some back and forth. I had to kind of push my machine to see how small I could go. You want to kind of keep it, I would say about 1.5 to 2 centimeters. You don't want your cuts to be too small, but obviously the hole that we're doing, it has to be small. So this was risky, but I tried it and it paid off, so we are going with it. So I want this to be about, let's say, 0.3. So you can see it's really, really tiny. And the reason this works, let's go even bigger. So the reason this works is because it is quite an easy shape. If I was trying to do a square or a triangle, it wouldn't work as well. So that's really, really tiny. Let's go 6 again. Bring it to the front. And we kind of want that in the center. So let's select both of them and say center horizontally, and then I'm going to slice it. So this is going to be our little hole. I think I should have gone a little bit smaller. So what I'm looking at now when I'm saying I should have gone a little bit smaller is I'm looking at the space between the edge and the hole. So that is not going to give me a lot of stability and strength. So I do just want to go a little bit smaller. Okay, let's align center horizontally and then slice again. Now we can get rid of these pieces, and then we're going to create a little loop on the top for our second bow ribbon. That's it. Okay, so now we're going to be using our shapes. We're going to take a half circle, a semicircle, half circle. We're going to be using that. Okay, and I kind of want it to be oblong. Again, I'm not sure if that's a word. We can make that a bit smaller on the edges. Let's just zoom in so that we can see a bit better. Drag it up so we can get those. Drag it up so we can get our sides. So again, I'm kind of just winging it, just feeling what feels right. And I feel like that's one of the beautiful things about designing anything, is it's kind of just feeling. Okay, so we're going to change the color of this so that I can see it against the black. Let's bring it to the front. We're just going to grab everything and we're going to say align center horizontally. Just make sure everything's perfectly aligned. We're going to take our half circle and the little white circle that we created, and we're going to slice that. So you can see I'm just making all the little elements so that we have place for our ribbon to go through, and we have all the things. So we're going to select all of that. We're going to say combine and weld. So if you look in my sidebar, you can see I did not select this little piece, which is now, oopsie, Control Z, I just did delete it. So I did not select it. Let's bring it to the front when I was welding everything. So that is still going to be a separate piece. Okay, so now we can stick our 5 centimeter inside there, and that's going to help us to make sure that we have it the size we want it to be. So I think that's good. We want a little bit of space on the outside so that it can swing around if it has to. Maybe a little bit smaller. I think that's good. It's off center, but it's good. Okay, now we're going to work on our acrylic keyring. So this is why I had 2. I'm going to use 1 to design in, and then I'm going to slice my design so that it fits perfectly onto my keyring. And then I'm going to place it onto this one. So this can actually be a guide. Okay, so there is one more thing that I just do want to show you. If we zoom in to the base of our snow globe, you will notice that there are these 2 little loops here. So the space between those is very, very small, and if you've ever worked with your knife blade, you know that it doesn't have that range of movement. So you want to try to get rid of any pieces that are going to cause issues. So I am going to create my own little loop that I'm going to stick on either side, and that's just to make this 1 loop instead of 2, and that's going to help it to cut better. Just kind of make sure it is. So we're going to zoom in more just so I can get better better movement, if you will. What's the word? It's not movement. That looks good. I'm going to select that, and again you can see in the side I have not selected this little piece across, and I'm going to say combine and weld. So now you can see it just has 1 little loop instead of 2, and that's going to make it easier for me. Now with the acrylic blank in the middle, you can do absolutely anything. Sarah had a lovely class on Saturday. If you missed it, you can re-watch the recording on YouTube, where she designed quite a few different acrylic ornaments, and she had some really nice techniques in there. So I am doing something for my kids. I'm going to be going with 1 color. I'm going to be using white only, and the reason I've gone for white only is I wanted to mimic sort of the snow inside of the snow globe. So I want that sort of snowy scene. So again, I have bookmarked this. Let's say Christmas. Apparently I've bookmarked a lot. Let's just check. No, we're not selected. Not those ones. Christmas scene. Let's see. Okay, so we have quite a few here. I did want to do this one, which was a little bit different. Okay, so we're just going to change this to white so that we can see it on top of our black acrylic blank. Now I'm going to be using smart vinyl, and the reason I'm using smart vinyl is because I find it cuts these little details a lot better. So that's my personal observation. Let's use the other one. Let's see what this one would look like. So as I'm making this smaller, what I'm looking at is these teeny tiny little snowflakes, and I think doing it so small that might cause me a bit of a problem. So we have to also be mindful of the limitations with sizing. So let's change this to white. And I do love that. Okay, so I think we're going to use that. So now we're going to insert our text. So the first thing we're going to do is 2025, and that's going to go onto our snow globe. So let's just send this to the back so we can see that little piece again. Grab the little piece. Oopsie, we did not want to duplicate that. So you'll see I zoom in and out a lot because I find it easier to sort of design that way. Okay, so I'm going to change this to Elizabeth, which happens to be one of my favorite fonts at the moment. I absolutely love it. It's a very Christmassy font. You'll see when I write the name. So let's duplicate that. We're going to put Skylar. And you can see it's super Christmassy, very flowy, very pretty. We're going to change this to white again so that we can see it. Kamal says, please use sea sand and ditch the snow. So I must admit, even though I am a Durban girl, I am not a huge fan of the snow. So what I'm going to do, so you can see that where I want to put my name, there is a snowflake right in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to contour this, and I'm going to get rid of that little snowflake just to give me a little bit more space. And also just be mindful of the little hole for the keyring that will be about here. So just leave your space at the top for that. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see I've taken that snowflake out, so I don't really have a lot of snowflakes left. I do want some snowflakes, so I'm going to contour a second one that I duplicated. I'm going to say hide all contours. I'm going to take just one snowflake, and I'm going to say apply. So now I can add in some extra snowflakes. Let's stick that one there. Make that one a little bit smaller. And maybe over there. I think that's good. Okay, so now we need to slice our big design, because obviously we don't want to have to cut the whole design and then apply half of it to the keyring and then try and cut some off. I think I scared a lot of people previously when I was playing with the X-Acto knife, so we will avoid doing that. Okay, so we're going to select, you can see in my sidebar, I've selected winter reindeer and the circle, and I'm going to slice that. We can now delete that part. And then what I want to do, so we can delete the black part as well, but let's leave them for a minute. What I want to do is I want to add an offset to this. So let's just zoom in so you can see nicely. You can see that it has these really, really thin pieces, and while they are beautiful, they're not going to cut properly. So remembering, let's have a look at this. This is a whole 1.62 centimeters high. So it's very, very small. When your machine tries to cut that, all it's going to do is cut a line in your vinyl. You're not actually going to get a nice clean cut. So to counteract that, what we're going to do is we are going to add an offset, and it's going to be a very, very small offset. We want to keep the definition of our letters, and we just want to give the machine something to cut. So I go with 0.015 up to about 0.018. So we'll start with 0.015. Let's say apply. Let's change it to a color we can see. Let's get rid of the original, and you can see that it's giving us some thickness, but it's not taking away too much of the definition. So let's go to Control Z. Let's try a slightly smaller one. So we're going to go with 0.013. I'm much happier with that, so I'm going to keep that. Okay. So now what we can do is we can select our offset, our snowflakes, and our slice result, and we're going to say combine weld. We can get rid of the black pieces, and there is our pretty design ready to go. So that is going to go in the center like so. And then we also just want to give this some thickness, so we're going to give it an offset as well. And for this one I can go a little bit thicker because it is a bigger piece. So let's go 6. So these I'm going to do a sort of brownish, I think it's rose gold actually. I'm going to be doing it a rose gold. I wanted to keep it very similar to the color of the wood because I wanted to have that wood laser cut. That laser cut look, that's it. Okay, so we're just going to make this that color. We're going to change this. So remember, if I leave it white, because our center design is white, then everything's going to try and cut off of one mat. So that's why I'm just changing the colors to something that is a little bit better suited. Okay, so now we can zoom out so you can see the whole design, and we are ready to cut. So I've made my acrylic blank a guide. It's not going to cut when I say make it. So let's say save, snow globe, save, and then we're going to make it. So it doesn't matter what type of blank you have. If you have a little Christmas tree, a shaped one, or a little Christmas stocking, so I was looking through my blanks, I found a whole bunch of different shaped ones. You can use the same concept. So what I think would be really cool is if you had a Christmas stocking shaped blank, you could actually make like a little fireplace instead of a snow globe. The options are literally limitless. Okay, so this is going to be our smart vinyl, this is going to be our basswood, and this is going to be our foil vinyl. Okay, so I'm going to cut the smart vinyl first, and I'm going to be using the smart vinyl setting. So I have a maker, I'm going to be using the fine point blade, and that works perfectly for me. Okay, so I did share something the other day. If you're battling with your cut settings, you can have a look at it. It's how to create a custom cut setting. I have shown it in classes before. Remember, the cut settings that I use might not necessarily work well for you, so always test the cut settings first before you dive into a whole project. Okay, so we're going to be using smart vinyl, not shimmer, that one, permanent vinyl. Okay, so I have my acrylic blank, I have my basswood, I have my strong grip mat, and I have my standard grip mat. So for the vinyl, I'm going to be using the standard grip mat, and for the basswood, I'm going to be using the strong grip mat. Okay, so I have an offcut here. We were talking about using your offcuts and saving, and it inspired me to actually use my offcuts. So obviously just make sure that your offcut is big enough. So our blank is 5 centimeters. I have 7 centimeters. We're good. So Candace says that she's struggling with time management between the projects and school exams and work. She's trying her best to get to the Christmas with Cricut, but it's difficult. I completely get that, and I've had to be very hard on myself, but also very gentle with myself. So hard on myself in that I have to accept that I can't do everything, and then gentle with myself in that I'm understanding of the fact that I can't do everything. So we absolutely love it again when everybody joins in. We love seeing everybody's creativity, but we obviously understand that people have lives, and especially this time of the year, it is super busy for everybody. So we do appreciate all of the effort that everybody's put in, and I absolutely love the sense of community that it builds. So Kamal says he likes the Cricut logo on the protective sleeve hack. He needs to do that. So the reason I do it is so that I can always put my mat on the correct way again. So it does actually matter which way you put your mat cover back on. Obviously, I mean, I'm touching all over the outside of it. When I take it off, I lay it down so that it is this side down, and any dust or anything collects on that side. So it does actually help your mats to last a bit longer. Okay, so I have my design. I don't know if you can see it because this light's super, it is so teeny tiny. Very excited. Okay, so next we're going to do our foil vinyl, and for this one I found this is a very, very thick vinyl, so I'm going to be using the textured metallic setting, and I'm going to be doing it on extra pressure, I think. So I'm looking for premium vinyl, textured metallic. And again, these settings are all just suggested settings. You just have to find the one that works for you. So Kim says that hers have happy birthday stickers on them. And I actually just have to show you, well, actually I don't want to show you. I'll show you a little piece of it. So I have a school label on one of mine. So whatever works, whatever you can get to, as long as you can tell which way your mat cover goes back on. So I also have some beautiful red here. I have a nice red, I have a nice rose gold. And this is a little dusty. Ugh. So I'm just going to use my braid to get rid of these bubbles. I do have one down here, but it's fine. I'm not really going to be cutting there. Okay, there's that design, and we're going to let this cut. Okay, while that cuts, I'm just going to get a sheet of our basswood out. So in here you get 4 sheets, I think it is, and you'll see this ornament specifically takes up maybe not even a quarter, so you can get quite a bit out of it. So I'm just opening this quickly. Okay, so I do just want to check that this is cut through. because, like I said, it is quite a difficult vinyl to work with. It looks good. Okay, put our mat cover back on the correct way. So I see there is discussions going on regarding looking after your mat, and one of the things that I find very helpful is to actually brayer your cover back on. It helps to make sure there's no bubbles, no air bubbles, because when your mat is exposed to air for a long time, then it starts to lose its stickiness as well. So there is a little helpful tip to go with them. Okay, now we are moving on to our basswood, and for that you will need your knife blade. So this is the knife blade. There it is there. It is a self-standing unit, so you cannot change your tips. You need to buy the whole unit on its own. And this is only compatible with the Cricut Maker, the Cricut Maker 3 and the Cricut Maker 4. So you have to have a Maker series machine to be able to use it. Okay, so we're going to be using the basswood setting on Design Space. And all of these settings, if you will be able to find them by looking at your materials. So if you look in the corner here, you will see that it is, where is it now? Somewhere. It says 1.6 somewhere. It says it somewhere. So we will be using that setting. I just want to swap over to Design Space as well, just so I can show you something. So if you have a look next to your material settings, you'll see the little C here. That means that that is a Cricut material. So you can see the 0.8 mil one. It doesn't have a C next to it. That's not a Cricut material. So we're going to go with that one. Okay. So Raksha asked how often you should calibrate the blade, and I think as soon as you start noticing that your machine is sort of cutting off, it's not meeting the edges nicely, then it's always good to calibrate again. So if you have not used your knife blade yet, it's super easy to calibrate it. You're going to go to, you click on your name in Design Space, you go down to settings, and then I think it might be machine settings, and there's actually an option to calibrate there, so you can calibrate your knife blade, your rotary blade, and your print end cut. So whenever you notice that it's not cutting as nicely as it should, it's always a good idea just to recalibrate it. It shouldn't be something that you do all the time though. I'll be honest, I've done it once with this machine. I'm not sure how long I've had the machine though, so okay, we're getting there, I was doing so well until I had to fight with plastic packaging, and now I cannot get it open. Yes, so Natalie suggested in the comments that old mats are great for crafting mats. So if you are like me that likes to paint or works with other materials, so they've really stuck this in here and I'm really battling to get it out. Yeah, so if you're like me that likes to work with various different things, the mat is lovely as a desk saver. So you mess it up instead of messing up your nice cutting mats, because once you mess up your cutting mats, then you'll end up getting bumps all over them, and it is difficult to get that nice clean cut with your self-healing cutting mats. Okay, so my strong grip mat is very new. If yours is not new, you're going to want to tape your material down. If it is new, I also probably would not risk it and just tape it down, but I'm going to risk it and not tape it down. So I'm going to use my brayer and I'm going to make sure this is down nicely. And I'm just going to flip it and I'm just going to press it from the back. And that's just to make sure that it's nice and stuck on there. It's not coming off. My star wheels. Okay, so let me just see if I can get my machine forward. Just to show you these little things, they're called your star wheels. They're all the way to the side. Yes, okay, I think that's fine. And we're just going to let that cut while that is cutting. While that is cutting, I'm going to start weeding our little pieces. And that's going to cut a few times. So I just want to show you on Design Space again quickly. So you can see that it's currently cutting one of 14 passes. The 3 minutes remaining is for the first pass. Okay. So if any of your pieces of your vinyl are lifting, you just hold them down, like so. This might be a bit of a tricky vinyl to work with, but it's so worth it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So pretty. Yeah, so Susie says that it will cut right through the mat, and you should never ever leave it unattended. You should stay close to it, and yes, you should definitely check it maybe about halfway through. So I have had it before where I have cut through a mat, so always just keep an eye on it. Don't get distracted. Okay, we have that ready. So I'm seeing somebody ask, oh, Candace asked, do the wheels have to go all the way to the right, or can you do 2 to the left and 2 to the right? So you could do 2 on either side, but here's a big but. You would then have to move your basswood to the middle of your sheet, and you would have to, center your design, so it is just easier to move it all to the one side, and then you don't have to adjust anything. So the way you should be doing it is all to the one side. Okay, so this is why I wanted to use smart vinyl. So I find that with smart vinyl you get the most amazing intricate cuts. So you do, obviously, as with any vinyl, just have to maybe hold some pieces down, but I don't know if you can see this. There it is there. I don't think you can see it because of the reflection and white on white, but that is such a perfect little snowflake. I'm just going slowly to make sure that I don't rip any pieces of my design off. Susie says that I make weeding look so simple. These fine things are the pits I've had to recut so often. So that was exactly what I was saying about using smart vinyl, and it's one of the reasons that I am fully prepared to pay the extra cost for it, because I know the quality in it. So I've tried it with the normal what do you call them, permanent vinyls, and it is so difficult to get these beautiful cuts. I absolutely love smart vinyl. It is my favorite. And of course, we cannot forget the honorary mention of our slanted weeding tool. I absolutely love it. So you can see when I weave these little pieces, all I have to do is literally stab it in. And okay, now I'm trying to show you, so it's not working. And it literally just comes out. It is the best. So it's great for these little pieces. And now that I'm showing you, I can't do it, of course. So I am just getting rid of all these little pieces, and I am just keeping an eye on the cut next to me, making sure that nothing's moving out of place. So one of the things that I see come up often is when people are cutting material like this, their machine starts flashing red and they panic. So in those instances, 90% of the time, the reason your machine is flashing red is because your basswood has moved and it's interfered with one of the sensors, or it's gotten hooked under the blade. So always keep an eye out for your little pieces like those little circles that we had. If those get hooked onto the blade, they can cause that error. So you would obviously just remove everything from your machine, turn it off, check that there's no obstructions, and then try again. And if you keep getting that error, chances are that your design is too intricate. So what's happening is, as it's cutting, it is actually causing pressure against the blade, and it's making the blade think that it's getting caught on something. So that would be like that Christmas tree that I was telling you about, where it's just way too intricate. So that can cause it. And another thing that can cause it is obviously if your mat is not sticky enough and your material's moving. So those would be things to look for. Okay, I think we are good. I've just got this teeny tiny little piece here. It's teeny tiny. Okay, so somebody asked on Saturday's class regarding the strong grip transfer tape. So again, this is at your own risk thing. If you only have strong grip transfer tape, you can actually take it and you can press it against your toes a few times, press it against the floor, kind of get that stickiness off a bit. So I'm doing it on my pants. You can't see, but I'm sticking it against my pants and taking it off, sticking it against my pants and taking it off. Kim says she has a big collection of those weeding tools. She'll send them to me for Christmas. I am super excited. So I actually have 2 of them. I absolutely love them, and I feel like once you try them and you get the hang of them, you will love them too. So again, I have just stuck this on my pants to remove some of the stickiness. And then when I place it onto my vinyl, and this is a try at your own risk thing, when I place it onto my vinyl, I'm not going to press too hard. So I'm not going to sort of scrape it like I would with the normal one. We're going to remove the top cover, line that up, flip that over. And if you battle with transferring, then the rolling method is the way to go. Okay, so I'm just going to pause this once it's done with its next cut, because I can see that the one piece has come out. One of the circles is coming out. So I'm just going to let it finish this cut, and then I'm going to pause it. And it paused kind of super in the machine, so I can't really get to it. So when I pause it, I want the mat to be more out. Let's pause it there and see if she shall work. Yes. Okay, so now I can check it once we are done with this. So rolling method, we're rolling the backing back on itself like so. Okay, we're just going to line this up nicely. Can we see it? We can. Let's see. So I'm just making sure we are nicely lined up. Okay, and then I'm just going to check here. So I need to, best way to check is to grab the middle piece, because we're not going to be using that piece. So if that middle piece is coming out, then we are good to go. And I'm just lifting from the bottom so that I can see if it's cut through or if it's just that piece. It looks like it's just that piece that's cut through, so we're going to let it go again. Okay, now we're going to press on our design. And you can see, because I have taken away the stickiness by rubbing it onto my pans, it is releasing nicely. So again, this is at your own risk. Please do not invest in a huge design and then be disappointed when it does not release. So I would suggest trying with little designs first. See how it goes. I do have a little piece here. See how it goes, get comfortable with it, and then move on to bigger designs. Okay, now we're going to use the same piece for here. We're not going to take a new piece. I did see there's a little piece here that I did not weed. And then we're just going to remove our piece from the back. There we are. So now it's giving, now you can see, there we are. Now you can see how teeny tiny those little, what do you call them, snowflakes are. Those are teeny tiny. So cute. Okay, now we're just going to separate our two pieces that we're going to be putting onto our snow globe part. And I went and I robbed one of my Christmas ornaments. I want this piece of string here. So this is called, I think it's called Christmas twine. I honestly think that's what it's called. I did Google it and this came up, so that's what I'm going with. Okay, so this says it is ready for us, and it looks ready. Oh, I do hope I have not cut through my mat. Okay, so we're just going to turn it over and very gently remove it. So just like we would cardstock, vinyl, etc. I could have gone maybe one pass less. So just check it, make sure, don't invest all the way. And that's a beautiful cut, actually. Look at that. That is a beautiful cut. So cute. So you can use this to make other ornaments. You can paint it and you can make some other ornaments. So this is going to go in there like so. We're going to, let's do the number first. Let's stick this over here. I'm so excited. I love Christmas. Love, love, love. Let's just close that up. So again, rolling method. I'm just rolling it back on itself. If it lifts, so you can see it's lifting, you can see, then what I do is I'll roll it back and I press down as I roll back again. Okay, so I can see it's giving me problems to lift, so I'm now going to use my scraper. Just to help me out a bit. And yes, it is my big bougie one. There we are. So you can obviously use whatever you want. You don't have to use a foil vinyl. You can use a pattern vinyl. You can use a plain vinyl. It's completely up to you. You can even use a different color for each family member if you want to. Oopsie, make sure it's down properly. So always want to move slow. And again, I am using a strong grip here. So this is what you would need to watch out for when using your strong grip. You just want to work slow and gentle. So it's not impossible, it just does require some planning, if you will. Let's see. So Judy says that she finds the smart vinyl doesn't transfer as easy as the others, and that is true, but it's also one of the reasons that you get such a beautiful cut with it, because it doesn't transfer so easily when you're cutting it. It doesn't move as easily. So if you are battling, you can try the strong grip. But again, do what I've done. So stick it on your shirt a couple times. It's just going to help release some of that stickiness. And then when you want to transfer it, don't immediately just go for your scraper and go at it, because chances are it's not going to release. So just try it out a couple times with, like, I don't know, cut a few snowflakes and transfer them one by one and see if it works for you. Oh, he looks a bit skewed, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so we're going to now put these together. It's literally that simple. So you can obviously, if you want to, you can paint this. So what I did want to do is, with my other one, I wanted to paint the edges, just the very edges, with a gold paint. I thought that would look super cool. I'm just going to thread that. So for me, this is the hardest part of the whole project. Let me just grab my tweezers. This is for me the hardest part of the whole project, is tying this little piece with my big fingers. It's very difficult. So I go like that, and then I grab it. And I lost a piece. You know, watch me struggle now. This is definitely the hardest part. Candace says she has purchased enough transfer tape for the next lifetime, thanks to the special on the secret sale. That was an amazing special, and I saw something shared earlier about new specials. There was a heat press mat, so if you don't have one, now is your chance. This legitimately is the hardest part of this entire project for me. If anybody has any tricks for tying these things, please do be sending them my way, because wow, I will be fighting for my life here. I mean, I could just tie it like this, I guess. I mean, I could have just done this all along. So Natalie asked, what is the secret sale? She just bought her Maker for yesterday, so all of this is new to her. So the secret sale is a website where you can get Cricut materials. You can get them at hugely discounted prices. So it is www.secretsale.co.za. There is a spin the wheel, and you can get discounts, and there are some really cool giveaways, and obviously also special deals. So after fighting for my life, I have managed to do it. So now it's just to get the right length, and I think that's good. I do think that's good. So Susie, what I was trying to do is tie it in a knot here. So the reason I need to tie it in a knot is so that obviously it doesn't come out. So I mean, I could have made it longer if I didn't rob. This is not working. If I didn't rob one of my Christmas ornaments, but I did, so I did not have a longer piece, unfortunately. So I'm just going to continue to fight for my life with this, I guess. Yeah. I don't know how I did this before. So if you have missed any of the classes, you should definitely go back and give them a watch while I'm fighting for my life here. We've done infusible ink mugs. Soraya did some gorgeous felt earrings. Sarah did acrylic keyring, not keyrings, ornaments. There we are, grab it. So I'm grabbing it with my tweezers. And we're getting somewhere. Are we? We're not really. We're not really. Okay, so it's a little bit long, but I will continue to fight for my life with that after the class. So I'm just going to grab some, obviously you're going to neaten that up, you're not going to have all your little pieces lying around. And then we're going to take some white ribbon, and this one I actually can tie, hopefully, we'll see. And we're just going to give that a little twist in there. Like so. Okay, so this obviously is going to be tied a lot neater than what I've tied it, because wow, I don't know what's going on here. And then it's going to hide at the top, and there you have your little, so I can't show you it hanging obviously. This you want to tie it a little bit higher, and that is going to be your ornament there. There it is. So very cutesy, very easy. Again, I do recommend getting twine that you can cut longer so that you can actually tie it. Very much do recommend that. I will fix that shortly though, and I will definitely post a picture on the group. So I hope that this class has inspired you. I'm really excited to see what everybody comes up with. Again, I've been loving all of the different variations that everybody's been doing, and I think that there's some really cool things that you could do with this. So I'm excited to see what everybody comes up with. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I have absolutely loved it, apart from not being able to tie a string. Yeah, thank you all so much, and I can't wait to do this with you again soon. So before I say goodnight, tomorrow there will be another step-by-step project that will be released, if you will, and then the next day we've got another live class, so don't miss that. Same time, same place. Thank you all. Have a good evening.